Everybody poops sometimes. Give us the smother. Wake up, sweetness.
Your first time should be more than special.
I'm in, Savannah said. Good Lord, Gemma. When a man and a woman, in this case, really, really love each other. What happens is they fuck.
Ooh, hello?
Oh, dang it, I lost my fish. This next word almost sounds like Quidditch. Quidditch milade Diana Agosiagath an Fiedian. As much as I love fucking you, sweetness, we stared into each other's eyes whilst I moaned in ecstasy. Having consumed half of the bourbon, I keep saying bourbon. You know, every time I mess up on a word, Stunt Mama just shows up.
She had her seductive smile on her lips.
I said we couldn't have sex. I didn't say anything about everything else. Ew, happy to help. Biatch. You are the spark of light and the vastness of my night. His note, like a finality to a beautiful, breathtaking song.
Good evening. It's good to see you all. How are you? Gray, congratulations on redeeming first place. You earned it. Mama House Gaming, hi. Hope you're well. Kay, it's a pleasure to see you. Stump Mama's mama, the ever dutiful. It is lovely to see you this evening. And Dan Silver Knight, redeeming almost first, which is kind of like saying second. Sounds like everyone started off chatting, which is good. I'm glad to see it. I hope no one's had too bad of a week. Not saying you can't have one. I just hope you haven't had one. I think over here it's been steady, I think would be a good word to use. Haven't had a lot of downtime, but it hasn't been like, you know, soul crushing either. So yeah. But I'm glad it's Thursday nights. I'm glad we're here. I'm glad we're hanging out. Looking forward to reading to you. Let me show you what tonight's puzzle is, though. Look at that kitty. Look at that kitty. Hiding. Reminded me a lot of our book. So yeah. That's the puzzle if you want to do a puzzle. Just as a reminder, we are reading Iron Flame. I was like, what's the word? It's even on the screen right in front of me. Iron Flame in Discord tonight. And don't forget tonight, it's my last read for a couple of weeks. There's a slight update in my travel plans, which will interfere with stream. I originally was getting back Wednesday, like 2 weeks on Wednesday. But now I'm getting back on Thursday, which means I won't be able to stream Thursday night. So Sorry. Hi, Mad Locust. Good to see you. So I'll be here tonight, obviously. I'm here right now. No stream on Sunday or Thursday. And then the following week, no stream Sunday or Thursday. So it'll be a whole 2 weeks that I'm gone. And I'm very sorry to have to say that, but it is what it is. It's my birthday since an hour ago. That's fantastic. Happy birthday. That's amazing. Let's see if this still works. I haven't used it in a while. Well, that's disappointing. That was not... There's... Okay. I have obviously broken something, because there was more to it than that. You know, nothing ever just goes the way I want it to. Like, the command is still there, but where the heck is the actual thing? Let me double check a setting here. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot to check. Where is... Wow, I am just not a good streamer tonight. No, I don't want to do that. No. Gosh darn it. I don't want to uninstall it. Where? I want to open it. Where is it? What the heck? It's acting like it doesn't even exist. I see the birthday thing, though. That's here. It's there. I don't know. One day we'll have a stream where nothing goes wrong, and then we'll wake up and realize it was all a dream. That sounds about right. Shoot. I'm sorry. It was supposed to be a little pop-up on the screen. It was going to play some music and say happy birthday, and it was fun. But apparently not. Either way, though, happy birthday. Very happy for you. Many returns and all that good stuff. I don't know why it didn't work. I'll have to figure it out. In the meantime, though, why is my chatbot not appearing? It's even acting like it doesn't exist, which is very concerning. I didn't get rid of it. It's even acting like I want to install it, but it won't even show up for me to find it. This is very perplexing. 40 years. That's my next birthday, too. I know what you're thinking. He doesn't look over a day over 38. He can't possibly be turning 40, but it's true. It is true. I'm very perplexed right now. Alan, thank you for the lurk. Where the heck did it go? I hate it when this happens. I didn't delete it because it's asking me if I want to uninstall it. So that begs the question of where did it go? Slightly frustrating. Let's see if nope. Hey, Night Marcher, what's up? It's good to see you. An Amlas. Hi, Amlas. I'm so confused right now, guys. I don't know where my chatbot went. It's literally acting like it does not exist. That is a problem. Huh. Oh, I remember why. Oh, I see. It got quarantined. Yeah. Now it's coming back to me. Streamlabs chatbot got quarantined because my PC kept telling me that there was a problem. Which means I'm gonna have to... Oh, no. I hope it didn't, like, erase all of my... Son of a biscuit. Ha! Oh. I'm gonna have to uninstall it and reinstall it. That sucks. Sorry, guys. That stinks. I'm putting it back. Windows cannot access the specified device. You may have the appropriate permissions to access them. What happened to Streamlabs? What is going on? It's acting like it's a threat. I can't use chatbot anymore. Maybe Streamlabs broke something. It must have been Streamlabs. Okay. Hot flashes are going to kill me? Oh, I'm sorry. That doesn't sound fun. Okay. Well, for all of the commands that I would normally have, like Mama, yours, for example, it's not going to work. I'm going to have to literally redo it all. I'm also going to have to remind myself for when I get back to take care of it. That's a good cup of tea, though. All right, well, there goes that. Let's move on, shall we? Let's move on with our lives. We have more important things to do than concern ourselves with a bot that no longer works. Yeah, all of a sudden one day I just kept getting these pop-ups saying unwanted blah blah blah, you need to quarantine it or whatever. So I did, not realizing that it was going to actually stop chatbot from working. So it saved my computer from potential harm, but I've also lost chatbot in the process. So that's, not great. Kitten, thank you for the follow, and you redeemed almost second. Good job. Thank you for that follow. I hope you are well. We're just about to start reading. Folks, we're on chapter 9 tonight. That's where we left off. So, without further ado, I'm just going to get into it. Unless there's any comments or questions from the peanut gallery, let me know. I got to clear my throat, though. Just had dinner before this, and it's... All right, Chapter 9. The car roars down the country road, flying over road bumps. Estelle shoots around bends, revving the engine unnecessarily as gears change, driving like a demented idiot. And I'm ready to puke. The vehicle comes to sway, and my carrier rocks from side to side. After a few more minutes of trying to break the cannonball run record, Estelle slams on the brake pedal, and I slide forward, headbutting the door of my prison. The mad woman has given me a headache, as if I didn't have enough of a weak tummy. With a weak tummy, excuse me. We continue at a normal speed, which is short-lived. Through the grill, I glimpse treetops whizzing by. Hang on a minute. This isn't the road to the vet. We're headed to the forest. I hiss and meow, redoubling my efforts to escape, try as I might to chew at the straw-plated wicker. The stiff fibers are far too strong for my tiny teeth. To shut out the din, Estelle turns the music up full blast. I'll get her for this. I swear I'll scratch her eyes out. My pulse thumps in time to the intense music, and hot liquid trickles down the inside of my back legs. Every hair and whisker points upward as the car continues its mad drive. I scratch at the lock on the outside, to no avail. With a sharp swerve on the hand, the vehicle veers onto a rough dirt track. It rocks from side to side, bumping over knotted tree roots. Each bounce of the suspension sets my stomach churning, and every so often my head knocks the top of the carrier. A couple of minutes later, Estelle switches off the engine, bringing an end to the mind-blowing music. We've arrived. Here's your new home. Her voice is full of pride. She opens the car door, and nothing except silence reaches my ears. Every so often, the whisper of leaves in the treetops breaks the calm. A waft of forest undergrowth hits my nose, and I take in deep breaths to calm the nausea. Just audible in the distance, pigeons coo to one another. Estelle grabs my wicker home, and I thrash a paw out her way, ready to make a spiteful swipe. My claws have been restless to scratch her since we left the house. Like Little Red Riding Hood heading to her grandmother's cottage, she swings the basket and heads deeper into the woods. I stand on all fours, back raised to the top of my refuge in an effort to keep my balance. If only a monster would a monster wolf, hello, I can read, would gobble her up. Squinting through the lattice strips of wicker, tension grows deep inside. My short breaths come in spurts. This isn't the same forest that surrounds my cottage. It's more ancient. Thicker trees from a dense wall, and it's impossible to make out what lies in the shadows. The forest is veiled in a light mist, like how I'd imagine in the days of Merlin and Lancelot. Even the rare streaks of daylight have a hard time reaching the ground. After more swaying backwards and forwards, the crackle of twigs and leaves under Estelle's feet ceases. Did you honestly believe I'd let Tristan dote over you like that? I mean, you're only a cat. She drops the carrier to the ground and fiddles with the latch. Get out, flea bag. You stink. I hiss and show my teeth. Visions of my last sojourn, yes, in the wild springing to mind. I don't need this. Back to square one and all that comes with it. Fear of the unknown. Fear of him finding me, unable to be with Tristan. Estelle thrusts her hand into the basket. I said, get out. You were lucky last time. I can't understand how you survived. I'm sure I gave you enough rat poison to kill a horse. So that's why I had a squeamish tummy and weak legs. Bimbo tried to kill me. Tristan has no idea what she's really like. Blast. That's one of my lives gone. I stretch my paw and sink my claws in. If she doesn't mind her step, I swear I'll leave so many scratch marks on her wrist she won't need to buy bangles. You little bitch. She snatches her hand back and screeches. From the opening of my temporary home, I watch a murder of crows leap off the branches, cawing at their tarry wings, beat the air, or tarring as their, I'm fine. Cawing as their tarry wings beat the air while they head across the treetops. She scared them away, but she doesn't scare me. Shaking the basket like a spoiled child desperate to get the last cookie out of the biscuit tin, she screams with rage. I lose my balance, but my legs hold strong. She pokes her nose in and raises her voice. If you don't get out now, I'll stab you out. With ears folded back and teeth bared to the full, I hiss a second time. I'm only seconds away from diving for the jugular. The slim porcelain neck has been begging me to decorate it for a long time now. Estelle rummages around in the bushes, swearing under her breath. Dead leaves crunch under her feet before a brisk snap cracks into the air. She's all set to keep her promise. Like a shot, a short branch invades my place of safety. I slap out at it, claws extended to the limit. It doesn't strike me as being dangerous, yet you never know. Inch by inch, I retreat, back arched until my butt squashes the rear end of the basket. Estelle's weapon shoots out at me again and again until one of its sharp thorns hooks into my nose. The pain is like a knife twanging on a nerve. My eyes water, and I holler for all I'm worth. I told you to get out. An evil laugh growls from her throat as she discards the bramble. My poor nose throbs so much, I lose my grip, and I'm tipped out of the basket. I land on my feet, every sense alert. I feel the dew from the weeds brush my legs, smell the moss on the decaying tree stumps, hear the squeak of Estelle's trainers on the damp grass in her haste to get away with the basket. Goodbye, Gemma. Enjoy your life. Heart thumping, I contemplate my surroundings. In the dense growth of the flora, it's anybody's guess as to which direction to take. I'm disoriented. The trees look alike, and there are no distinctive landmarks. Silence fills my ears until it becomes deafening. How long can I survive this time? Somewhere in the forest, Vivaldi's The Storm blares out of Estelle's phone, breaking the silence, and my eyes fly wide open. I recognize that tune from the last time Moverio phoned. Dashing through the dense undergrowth, I spring over creeping ivy and tree roots, following the pathway through a verdant sea of ferns. Dry, brown needles prickle the pads under my feet. I've no time to worry about that now. The path vanishes behind an ancient oak, and there she is. Bent forward with both hands on her hip, Estelle tries to get her breath back as she talks on the phone on the ground in front of her. I've got it. I've got your ring. So, where the bloody hell are you? And why haven't you brought it to me? Chewing the inside of her cheek, Estelle's eyes flit around the forest. What excuse can she come up with? She found the ring yesterday morning. If I were in her shoes, I'd have got straight back to him. It took me a while to find. I had to wait until he was out of the house, because every time I tried to use my charms on him, the bloody cat kept getting in the way. I swear the idiot is in love with it. Despite having missed the beginning of the conversation, I gather the idiot in question must be Tristan. Estelle rubs her thighs and continues bleating. As soon as Fleabag whines, he goes running. He treats it like a human. Lorekeeper, thank you for the lurk. What cat? Mavario's voice snakes through the phone. There's a ghostly hum when he speaks, mingled with dripping water. It sounds like he's in some sort of cave. I don't know. This black stray he found in the forest a few months back. Mavario's voice rises. Where is she now? Don't worry, I've just abandoned her in the forest. I'm on my way out now. You stupid bitch. Estelle jumps at the curt remark, firing through the phone. Go back and get her now. Estelle's eyes shoot back and forth. She doesn't utter a word. Grabbing the phone, she presses it against her chest. Estelle. Estelle? Answer me or you'll regret it. Mavario's muffled voice tries to escape from the phone. Regaining her wits, Estelle pulls the phone away from her chest and swallows hard. She could be anywhere. That's your problem. If you weren't so bloody stupid and jealous, Kitty would be with me now. What are you talking about? First the ring, now the cat. You're losing me. That is no cat, Estelle. She's human. Turned into a cat by her family to escape me. Estelle glares at the phone. How can you be so sure? You said she's black, and that he treats her like a human. It's got to be her. His voice rises to its crescendo. I need that band of gold and the cat to reign over both this world and the underworld. And when that happens, you'll be free to do as you please. Otherwise, you can forget your pretty face. Do I make myself clear? Estelle nods. Do I make myself clear? His voice is like a clap of thunder. Yes, Mavario. Now go find her. Estelle clenches her teeth and pulls her shoulders back. I've had enough. Oh dear. Not a wise move. I grimace, ready for the explosion. Enough of what, may I ask? Morvario's voice is unexpectedly calm. Of you. Of all of this. She throws her arm in the air, fed up of you barking orders all the time. It's thanks to me you're still alive. His voice twists into the air. You were a mistake. Shouldn't even have been born. Color drains from Estelle's face as Mavario's words rumble in my head. Bimbo is all hatred and rage, and it's plain to see why. Bad adults are said to be a result of traumatized children. Although I dislike the woman, a fraction of me sympathizes with her. She was abandoned with her mother in the depths of the forest. A long silence sets in, and I hold my breath. You are no one without me, Estelle. Don't forget that. Estelle examines the ground, her eyes wide with fear. Oh, and one other thing. Be careful. Very careful. Remain obedient, and you'll come to no harm. Now, go find that cat and bring me the ring, before I really lose my patience. And you've seen what happens when I get angry. Estelle stabs her finger on the phone and flips it shut. Then, taking me by surprise, she lets out a deafening wail before hurling the phone in front of her, where it bounces off a tree and shatters on a stray stone. Rexter! What's up, my guy? Dancing bear? Oh, yeah. Birds take flight, and a few deer freeze on the spot. The only sound comes from Estelle's picking ferociously on the fern before whirling around like a wild animal. She sinks to the ground, rocking back and forth, wailing like a banshee. When you agree to help a monster, brother or no brother, you accept the consequences. On the other hand, does she have a choice? I take in a deep breath and scamper away into the green canopy. Estelle's fate isn't my problem. Keeping away from her and Moverio is. And the only person I can trust is Tristan. If I ever find him. Hey, sexy father. You, sir. There's a small break in the story. Time has shifted on. Night shows its dark face, and with it comes currents of cold air. I'm still on the move, in search of somewhere to sleep. The darkness creeps in on me, blotting out the forest. If I don't find a place to spend the night pretty soon, I'll be erased with it. The half-moon hovers above the dark forms of the treetops, and I envy the peaceful vision. It's incredible how everything can change with a snap of the fingers. 1 minute I'm a teenager enjoying life. The next I'm a cat on the run watching my back. A shooting star trails across the starry firmament, bringing back more memories of my family. They used to wait for the comets to cascade across the sky, believing their appearance was a sign of something good or bad to happen. With my eyes set on it, now is the time to make a wish. The wish that will bring me back to Tristan and my family. That I'll find my human form, and we'll all live happily together. Okay, that's 3 wishes. You only get 1. I approach a stretch of water and pad along the wooded pontoon. On its utmost edge, I sit and watch the solitary hours of night glide over the lake. I didn't expect my cat life to be like this, so difficult, so scary, so alone. Driven by my cat sense, I return into the forest and to the same footpath, whether that's the right way or not. I hate to admit that I haven't a clue where I'm going. Could this be because I'm only half cat? Aren't they supposed to be able to find their way home? A distant roll of thunder breaks the eerie silence, and I tense. The sky is full of stars without a cloud. The rumble can only be Moverio delivering a message, informing me he's out there. Stepping into a rough place of shelter comes into view between the emerald foliage, and I mumble a silent prayer to Hecate, I'm not sure, the goddess of witchcraft. I reckon kids must have hung a couple of moth-eaten brown blankets over the lower branches of a birch. I stare at the makeshift shelter, sniffing the air. Seems safe enough. I duck inside to a musty atmosphere. An odor of damp earth and rotting wood lingers in the air. That doesn't bother me. Brings back memories of my greenhouse. I turn a slow circle and catch a glimpse of more blankets folded roughly in a pile. What a twist of fate. Not going to be a bad night after all. With my legs tucked beneath me to keep warm, I place my head on the blanket and let the darkness wrap itself around me. And that is the end of chapter 9. So, Estelle was supposed to take Xerenyse, aka Gemma the cat, to the vet, but instead dumped her in the forest, only to then find out that she's not really a cat after all, and now she's, well, screwed because she let the cat go. But, as the book said, you can't help but not feel a little bad. Just a little. For Estelle. Seems like she's stuck between a rock and a hard place. But, as we all know, even though it's not always easy, but we still know it, there's always a choice. Sometimes that choice, though, means the difference between doing the right thing or ending up dead yourself. So, what do you do? Just delicious tea. Rexter, what are you up to this evening? Anything fun planned on your Thursday night? I feel very bad that I won't be able to stream for the next 2 weeks because of my work trip. But unfortunately, it's that time of year and I gotta go. Places to be, people to see. Colleges to visit, conferences to attend. Many, many miles to be driven. Not to mention flown. All in a hard day's work for this man. Oh, hold on. What is this? I got some sort of message. Sorry. Okay. All right. So the question is, how is Tristan going to react once he realizes that the kitty that he loves so much isn't there? Of course, maybe there's a chance that Estelle finds the cat and she makes it back with the cat, but I doubt it. Who knows? We're kind of at a weird impasse right now where anything is possible, anything could happen, and heck, I don't know. I just don't know. Chapter 10. A low grumble brings my eyes wide open. Dawn has yet to show its welcoming face, and night hasn't shed its black cloak. Shadows dissolve into the darkness, and I get raided. Let me see if I'm going to say this right. Cypher, is that right? Cypher Techno? Thank you for the raid. You're here now twice? Ah. Lorekeeper, I'm assuming you have something to do with this. Thank you for the raid. Were you perhaps reading a lovely little book tonight? That's the right pronunciation? You know, it's nice when you get a win sometimes. Well, thank you for coming over. Reading Watership Down. I can't say I'm familiar with that one. Can we get a lovely shout out? I would like to make sure I'm following our new friend. Cypher's on the list, so okay, all right. Excellent. Well, here, let me pull you up. I want to make sure I'm following. Done. Oh my gosh, you have a fish tank going right now? That's incredible. All right, I'm followed. Done. Looking forward to it. It's great to meet other writing reader streamers now that we have an official category. I probably did follow you from the list or Neff mentioning you. Got it. Well, I'm glad we've connected. We, obviously we read books here. The books that I read here are from authors that are currently breathing, that have a pulse. And I've reached out to them and they've given me permission to read their work. So I basically work with newer authors to help them get connected to the world with their work. So the book we're reading tonight, written by AJ Saunders. There's another writer in here, Kay, if she happens to chat, type something out. She's also a writer. We've read some of her work too. It's very good. Category change everything. Much growth since. That's fantastic. I'm so excited by it. I really am. And I never thought something like this would, you know, energize me as much as it has, but it really has. I'm so glad. I'm imagining this is what it feels like to finally get recognized for something when you should have been recognized all along. You know what I mean? And it feels refreshing. It feels like hope. Rebellions were built on hope. Now we're just getting crazy. Well, welcome in. Thanks for coming over. If you do !Xerenyse, which is part of the book title above my head, you'll see a link for this book, and then you'll also be able to see other books that AJ Saunders has written, some of which we have read on this stream. So yeah. I lost my place, but I know we just started the chapter 10, or the new chapter, so it shouldn't be that hard to find. I'm going back to Lurkland, but I'm sure I'll be around if I'm needed for anything. We'll always need you, Lorekeeper. Just know that. But please enjoy your lurk. And I'm so annoyed that Chatbot is done for. I'm going to have to find a new one. All right. Carrying on. Shadows dissolve into the darkness, and I catch a rustle nearby. A shiver snakes down my spine, like one of those when someone walks over your grave. I can't relate to that, but I get it. I have a hunch it's Moverio on the prowl. In what malevolent disguise will he appear this time? He's already been an owl. A high-pitched screech breaks through the air, and I'm a mass of shivering fur. What the hell is that? Is it even human? Complete silence covers the forest. Not a good sign. Everything seems creepier when no noise hides other sounds. Nausea pools in my gut. Through a frayed hole in the blanket, the stars vanish, and thin fog curls ever so slowly around all in its path, hugging everything like a comforting quilt, swallowing the ground, turning the woodlands smoky gray. Beyond the veil of the heavy mist lies something vicious and evil, waiting to pounce. I poke my nose through the hole to let in a little fresh air, imagining it ruffling over me. I wish it could reach me in here. Maybe later. For the moment, I need to stay put. My heart is about to escape from my chest as I turn toward the noise and squint through the haze. 2 shining spots, glowing like beacons, materialize in the foggy darkness. Despite the shimmering vapor, I pick up a dog-like form, yet somehow bigger. Beneath 2 shining eyes, a grin splits the creature's face with rows of razor-sharp teeth. Sounds a lot like a wolf to me. Or maybe coyotes are usually smaller, so yeah, wolf. My eyes flit around, trying to determine what course of action to take. I'm safe behind the warm blanket. For how long, though? If he sniffs me out, I'm done for. I scrunch my eyes and put up a barrier against the frightening voice in my head. The crunching of leaves in the undergrowth confirms he's approaching. He takes his time, one heavy paw after the other. Every so often, his footsteps draw to a halt, and heavy panting fills the air. My mind is racing, urging me to rocket out of here. I hold my breath and remain still. No noise or movement echoes from outside my hidey hole. I risk a peek through the tiny gap again. I catch my family on the outskirts of the copse, standing in a circle holding hands. Can they sense I'm in danger? Another crunch, and I pull back. He's there, and the only thing separating us is this moth-eaten blanket. The smell of his saliva filters through the material before a wet nose pushes its way through the hole. I'm gonna wet myself any minute. So, we meet again. His gruff voice penetrates through the blanket. Estelle said you were somewhere in the forest. I can smell you. I squeeze my eyes shut, fighting the stab of panic his voice brings. Little by little, my feet inch backwards to the far end of the shelter, where I remain crouched, stomach churning. Growling deep in his throat, he lifts a paw and tries to drag down the cover. Once again, I call up Xerenyse, the queen of goddesses, to come to my rescue. If Moverio touches me, it'll be my downfall. As Nana said, I'll be turned back into a human. He snaps his jaw in an attempt to scare me. It works. He's made sure to shift into a huge animal with long limbs and huge paws. Part of one is peeping under the frayed edge of the blanket. A violent crack breaks the eerie silence before a torchlight flashes and someone shouts into the night. There it is. We've got the bastard. We won't let the wolf get more chickens. Another shot sails through the air. and the beast's nose disappears in a flash. I pluck up enough courage to peek through my peephole. A third shot rings off, and the bark of a tree splintering the wood into shards, and my heart rockets into my ribcage. Morverio ducks and lets out a frustrated howl. He has no choice but to run. Staring in my direction for a brief moment more, he bounds away, his doleful cry resonating in the treetops. I take in slow breaths. Another close escape. Is that another life gone? If I have any more close shaves like that, I swear my fur will turn snow white. Little by little, my mind ceases its deafening buzz until I'm clear-headed, ready to come up with a new strategy. Do I stay put and wait for daylight? I need the rest. Snag is, Morverio knows that. Once those hunters give up on him, he's going to come prowling back. The thought of his soggy tongue licking his chops sends shivers down my spine. My second option is to get the hell out of here, run for all I'm worth, put as much distance as I can between us. To go where? Back to Tristan? What if Estelle's there? I'd be diving straight into her arms. Best if I stay away from everyone. My mind is a soaring muddle. I'm caught between the hammer and the anvil. Even so, I have to make a choice. I bolt from under the blanket and tear away into the dark. Where did that surge of energy come from? I sometimes amaze myself. I believe it's called adrenaline. Although, maybe that's worn off by now. Who knows? Fine drops from the tall trees fall onto my whiskers. I flick them away with a toss of my head. Somewhere in the distance, the lonesome warble of a bird floats in the air. My ears prick up. A strange presence is out there. Despite the eerie atmosphere, I continue my journey. A bone-chilling howl fills the air. The birds stop chirping. The skin on the back of my neck prickles. I don't like this one little bit. Breaking into a sprint, I charge forward, eager to leave the forest. After a large bend, the path widens into a track before leading out onto a road. I take a huge leap over a hedgehog who decides to cross my path at this precise moment. No sweat. I land firmly on all fours, happy with my performance. I stare around in the darkness. The sky drops fine threads of tears onto my fur, spiking it with beads. Even the weather is crying. It's time to find somewhere safe to stay until morning. The rumble of a vehicle fills the air before an open-back farm truck appears out of the dark. I scramble up the bank to keep out of its way, worried it may hit me. The van, probably dating back from the mid-1950s, has seen better days. It creeps along the road, shimmery and white, and I know it won't hit me. It's got an aura around it, the same one that encircles my family. An idea comes to mind. What if I jump into the back? It would save my legs. Anything to get away from the forest quickly. But then, what if I'm leaping into danger? From where I stand, I make out two silhouettes in the front seats. Slow swirls of smoke trail in the air from one of the open side windows. The passenger is wearing a large brimmed hat. Could be the driver's wife. I twitch my whiskers. What are the odds of a couple harming me? Besides, I reckon they wouldn't even notice my presence. I wait for the vehicle to get level with me before leaping into the back. Slowly but surely, the truck trundles away from the forest black mass, and I lay back to relax, hoping I'm not being driven to some unexpected danger. As usual, my thoughts travel to Tristan, wondering what he's doing and if he's safe. And what's Estelle going to tell him? My mind takes on a deeper sense. Now he's going to cope, or how he's going to cope, now that he's at the mercy of Estelle and Moverio. I raise my head and contemplate the stars. What happens now? Do I call it a day and just lie low until the year is up? Abandon trying to get back to Tristan? All these negative thoughts must be because I'm tired, both morally and physically. But I'm not one to give up. Standing, I take a peek at the old couple inside the front of the van. They come across as being happy. Now and again, the old man releases the steering wheel and glides his knuckles down the side of the old lady's cheek. The woman lets out a girlish giggle and leans her face into the old man's hand. A little envious, I can't help staring. Will I ever grow old like that with my partner? Live with the same person all my life? If I can survive this year, maybe I will. I sit back down and continue dreaming. Sometime later, the engine splutters and slows to turn a bend. Maybe now's the time to jump out and head to the massive dark buildings across the fields. A crow leaps off the branch of a nearby oak, cawing as it flies in the direction of the farm. My pulse kicks up a notch. Could that be Morrigan? Or Moverian? Or no, sorry, I'm reading wrong. Morrigan, the goddess of war and fate in her bird form, urging me to head to the buildings. Is she watching over me too? I balance on the edge of the truck, peering down at the road. Do I? Don't I? The engine revs up. It's now or never. Squinting, I leap into the air, legs stretching out in all directions before I land with a thud on the hard tarmac, swearing, good and strong. That hurt like hell. I take a couple of steps, lose my balance, and collapse in the middle of the road. This just isn't my lucky night. Breathing slowly through my mouth, I try to stand. A streak of pain shoots up my left back leg before it goes away. Maybe I'm more injured than I thought. Blast. Don't say I've broken it. That's all I need. I stand a second time. A dull pain throbs deep in my stomach. I want to cry out my frustration. Only a strangled yowl escapes between gritted teeth. Okay. Let's look on the bright side of things, if there is a brighter one. I'm wounded, not to the point of being a cripple though, and I still have 3 other legs. Limping to the side of the road, I watch the truck cruise away. Then fear sets in. What if my leg is badly damaged? How can I mend a broken limb? I succeed in hobbling to the farm and into the courtyard, just about managing to make it over a crumbling wall. My leg is so painful, I could cry, but I keep going, stumbling to the small barn, trying to avoid pressing my paw onto the ground. The dilapidated barn bangs slightly, the barn doesn't hang. The barn door does, though, and it hangs slightly ajar, wedged open by an old broom. I pull my stomach in and manage to squeeze through the thin gap to the other side. Just as well I haven't eaten much lately. Inside, the smell of dusty straw hits my nose, but that doesn't bother me. I'm more interested in the string of smoked salmon hanging from a beam. I know what main dish is on my menu tonight. As if on cue, my stomach rumbles. In a crowded room, it would have gone unnoticed. Here, in the silence of the barn, it sounded like an angry drum roll before a parade. I'm so hungry. I could eat the whole lot, including the cord tying them together. I trudge past a rusty pitchfork and crawl onto a bale of hay. I stretch out a paw and hook my claws into the nearest fillet. Fish fillet? Yeah. After 2 or 3 tugs, I pull it down and set about devouring the succulent fish. Sheer bliss. Just what I needed to boost my moral? Whew, we're nailing it tonight. Just what I needed to boost my morale a little. A smoked fillet later, I'm licking my fishy front paw clean. My sated stomach now gurgles with delight, and I'm ready to relax. And there's a break in the story, which means I'm gonna take a sip. By the way, it looks like ads are about to start. I think. Either that or it's like stuck on a screen and I can't tell. We only have a couple of pages. Oh, there it is. 2-minute break. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but if you have ads, I'm sorry. If you do, you can't hear me. I startle awake when a cock crows somewhere outside. It screeches at the top of its voice to announce the start to a new day. No doubt ruffling its multicolored feathers to full on the tips of its claws, giving every ounce of itself. His ferocious morning call is followed by clucking hens and the high-pitched honking of geese. Somewhere in the distance, a cow bellows. To tell the truth, I like the farmyard atmosphere. Something rattles on the barn door and my pulse quickens. For an awful second, I fear it's Moverio. The rusty voice of an old lady croaks in the air instead, and I relax. Must be the owner. The door is pulled open, and a scrawny old woman stands in front of me. The typical image of a farmer's wife. Wooden clogs, long heavy skirt, and a knitted shawl pulled around her shoulders. She's the height of a small child, but the map of wrinkles sketched on her face reveals her true age. Furrows, no doubt accentuated by hours of hard labor in the hot sun. The old deer seems harmless enough, but you can never be too certain. She extends her hand and a few strands of gray hair escape from the sides of her floral headscarf. I take a step back, unsure of how she'll react to me eating her salmon. She holds out her hand a second time, and I let her stroke me. "Hello, Blackie," she says. How many more names am I going to have? Xerenyse, Gemma, and now Blackie? To be honest, I don't really care what she calls me. I'm in too much pain. She approaches and holds out a trembly hand. I'm not sure what to do. I don't know this woman. Although she comes over as being harmless, can I trust her? On the other hand, do I have a choice? Ever so slowly, she reaches out and places a hand on my head. I'm not going to hurt you. From her fingers, a hot tingle spreads through my body, soothing me, and I relax. What a peculiar feeling. Strange, yet comforting at the same time. My nerves jump a notch when a chaos of yowls and squeals pierce the silence of the barn as two cats shoot into the place in a mangled tornado of fur. Minnie-Ma, as I have named her, grabs the broom in a flash and separates the two dust devils with a bang on the head. Yelping, they both dash out of the barn, ready to start up their wrestling match elsewhere. Damn tomcats, she says, turning to leave. Just won't behave. I follow her as best I can into the yard, sniffing at the small patch of lawn, if that's what you call it. The patch is an overgrown tangle of knee-high grass and daisies. It doesn't look as if it's been mowed in a long time. As we approach the house, she turns to see if I'm following. I am, but slowly. Been injured, Blackie? I'll examine that leg later. She holds the front door open for me, and the exquisite smell of cooking wafts up my nostrils, bringing cramps to my gut. Although I wolfed down the salmon, I wouldn't say no to what's on the menu. The dim interior is large, yet bare. Furniture is basic. 3 simple stools sit around a sturdy wooden table at the center of the room. A saucepan of stew simmers on the aga next to an old porcelain sink, and the small fridge is the only noise audible. Despite the old-fashioned dust-covered furniture, on the whole, the room radiates coziness, even though I get the impression that I've traveled back in time. The old woman lifts the lid of the pan, and wafts of steam rise into the air. My whiskers twitch. Hungry, are you, Blackie? My stomach grumbles for a reply, and I huddle into a tight ball to ease the pain. Minnie-Ma chuckles and puts a chipped saucer of the stew in front of me. I gaze up and look deep into her eyes. There's loneliness there. Poor woman. I wait for the stew to cool before gobbling the whole lot in a jiffy. The old dear can certainly cook. That meal was delicious. Feeling better now you've had something to eat? She asks, stepping nearer. I raise my head and meow. Good. Now, let me tend to your leg. And that concludes chapter 10. So, Xerenyse the cat / human was initially in a forest, then found by Tristan, was put back into a forest, and now has found this dear old farm wife, or farm lady. We don't know if she's on her own, but she sure seems that way, at least at the moment. But Xerenyse has food, looks like she's got a place to stay, and she's going to get her leg looked at. So all in all, I think things are starting to stabilize for her. So that's good. But one has to wonder, what's going to happen? This story is, if I remember correctly, 199 pages long in this printed copy. Chapter 11 starts on page 108. So, at what point does Merverio, get defeated? Or maybe he gets closer and actually gets the ring, perhaps. you know, where does Tristan come back into this? Because he's like, oh, what was it? He's like the guardian of the ring. Because I think Estelle has the wrong ring, if I remember correctly. So there's still things that are, you know, out there that need to be answered. But currently, Xerenyse is safe. / Gemma / Blackie. Which is funny, actually. When I was growing up, my family had a black lab. Has since passed, obviously. That was a long time ago. But we called him Blackie. I don't remember who gave him that name. Not exactly, you know, mind-bending when we thought of that one. He is black. We shall call him Blackie. But he was a good dog. He was a good boy. Lots of imagination going into that name. I keep sliding in my chair. How's everybody doing? We doing okay? Enjoying the story? Catching up on some you time? Some relaxing? Maybe you're not relaxing, but you're at least getting through whatever it is you need to get through. Oh my goodness, there's a stunt mama. You're almost done with the puzzle. I should have made it more pieces. Stunt mama's enjoying the story. Oh, I'm very glad to hear that. Hi, stunt mama. You've been listening? Right you are. Currently putting a kid down and working on a slideshow for work tomorrow. That's exciting. Minus the work part and the fact that you can't put a kid down, or that the kid can't put themselves down. But I get it. I get it. I scrambled today at work to finish a second video in a 3-part series of videos for work. We're doing Halloween themed videos, so trying to find the appropriate balance between spooky and professional. It's a lot more tricky than you'd think, because I could go full on horror, scare your socks off if I really wanted to. Finished indeed. Look at that kitty. Look at that cute kitty. Oliver hiding under a quilt. That didn't take me too long. No, it didn't. I wasn't sure how many pieces I should make it, because there's this massive section of black, and I figured if it were too many pieces, that might become a bit daunting. So I went on the lower 300 side. Usually I go higher 300s, sometimes into the 400s. So, plus I never know who's going to work on the puzzle. Sometimes it's, just one person, like tonight. Sometimes it's 5 people. Sometimes it's nobody, and that's fine. I just never know. Save the black for last. That makes sense. All I had to go after were the shapes of the pieces. Yeah, that's why I didn't go. That's why I didn't go too high on the count, because it would have been really tricky. I can't do these puzzles with others. Mama House Gaming. It is a multiplayer game. That's okay. That's okay. JigsawExplorer.com is the website that I use. So if anyone is ever just curious about doing an online puzzle for themselves or with a group, that's all you gotta do. You just gotta make it a group one, and then you get a link and you can share the link. You get that? We start to move people's pieces. Yeah, I mean, that can happen. That can certainly happen. Although if you've clicked on it, nobody else should be able to click on it because it will tell you that, you know, this other person is using it. I think for me, the tricky part would be if you wanted to use it, but you can't, but the other person isn't actually doing anything with it. It's just sitting there. That would become... Just give me the piece. But anyway, good job on finishing the puzzle. Looks great. It looks great. What time is it? 7:13? Quarter past the hour. Should we do another chapter? I think we should. And again, just as a reminder, no stream after tonight for another 2 weeks, which for me is going to feel like a freaking eternity because I very much look forward to this time where I get to read to you. In fact, there's nights where I might be tired and like my wife might be doing bedtime with our kiddo, but I'll be like, can I do bedtime? I would like to read. I want to read to him. You know, I need that moment of just being able to read a book to somebody. It's kind of weird how not reading to him is weird, but just this urge, this need to read to somebody, if that makes sense. At least I got reading for my birthday. That reminds me. Let me give you a birthday present. There you go. Happy birthday. Oh my gosh, you just subscribed. Thank you so much. I'll even spin the wheel because that's technically what we're supposed to do. After I refresh my browser and reconnect Twitch. All right, here we go. Okay, it says chat pick. So, Mad Locust, you get to pick what gets added to the list over there. Squats, curls, hammers, or push-ups. That's so kind. Now stop. You don't tell me what to do. What would you like added to the list? Push-ups, of course. Why not? There's already 5. Might as well make it 10. Very good. I'll get to those next year. Thank you so much. All right. Exclamation point Xerenyse. We're on page 108, chapter 11. Let's go. Hi, Gray. Daydreaming in the kitchen, I stare at the wall beyond the edge of my bed, which is a wooden box lined with a piece of patchwork quilt. I've been here for quite a while. To begin with, I drifted in and out of sleep, trying to get used to my makeshift bed, missing the warmth of Tristan's arms. Since then, I've got used to it. With time, we all adapt to new surroundings. This is true. I know every crack in the wall, every pattern on the wallpaper. Sometimes Minima turns the box around so I can view the clouds floating by out the window. What I'd give to be able to get back to Tristan, to gallop in the fresh air and stretch my legs. But I need to stay put. As much as I'd like to be able to get back, I'm safe here. If I stay another 4 months until the year is up, the curse will be over, and I'll be able to lead a normal life. Mama told me never to judge a book by its cover. She is so right. Although the old woman comes over as a little granny, she's headstrong and full of life. I saw the way she handled her broom on the backs of those cats. When I arrived here 5 full moons ago, I was weak due to my damaged leg. Over the past month, though, I've been following Minima around as she does her chores. I'm getting stronger by the day. At least Moverio hasn't shown his face. At night after I turn on the light, I can't see anything. After 5 minutes, I can see a little. Yes, adjustment. I gaze over at Minima, sitting on her rocking chair, looking out of the half-open door, the broom securely gripped in her hand. She takes her role seriously, like a guardian of the peace, keeping her eyes peeled for the 2 male cats. Just as well. I don't need them sniffing around me and getting up to no good. I change positions in my box and sigh. She turns to me and smiles. You better now, Blackie? It's almost time for you to go back to your master. My head rises in a flash. What's she talking about? I like it here. I'm safe. As much as I'd like to see Tristan and my family again, I don't want to leave. And my leg is still weak. As if Minima can read my mind, she waves me to her. Your leg is fine. You followed me outside many a time. I climb out of my basket and put some weight on my injured leg. The old woman is right. There's no more pain when I stand on it. And if I'm honest with myself, I've been using my sprained leg as an excuse to remain at the farm. In the last 5 months, my life has been without worry or care. Although at times my mind hurts from bizarre thoughts racing through my brain like Estelle moving in with Tristan. And I can't ignore the obvious. Moverio is out there somewhere, waiting. With what's at stake, he won't give up. Best stay put. I can return to Tristan once the year is up. And I've found my human form. But how will he know who I am? He only knows Gemma the cat. One slow step at a time, I head towards Minima. See? You're ready to leave. No, I'm not. I want to stay here. The old woman gets to her feet and strokes me lovingly, then heads for the kitchen, where she takes a spoon and begins stirring food in the big saucepan. I sit nearby, sniffing the mouth-watering smell escaping from the pot. She gazes down at me and chuckles as she retrieves the spoon from the saucepan. Want a taste? I close my eyes and purr. Blast! She exclaims as the spoon slips out of her hand and thick brown sauce dribbles down the front of her apron. I'll have to get a clean one. She picks up the spoon from the floor and places it into the sink, then unties the apron and tosses it to one side, making sure to take the large iron key from its pocket. Taking slow steps, she heads to the far end of the kitchen to a dull, insignificant door where she slots the key into the lock. I catch 2 audible clicks before it creaks open, and the old deer disappears inside. Filled with curiosity, I follow.
A steep stairway leads to an upper floor. In all the 5 months living here, I've never been to this part of the house. Each step is a different height, which doesn't help. And to top it all, the bleak corridor gives me the creeps. The once white walls are now grimy with years of dirty hands trailing along them, and the musty odor of damp wood tickles my nose. I hug the wall and keep my head down. What do I feel like something bad's gonna happen? We reach the end, and Minima comes to a halt in front of another door. She opens the room and enters. It turns out to be an attic. The old woman walks to a pile of dusty suitcases and starts rummaging around in one of them. Over and over, she pulls out old clothing, dropping them in a heap nearby, huffing as she digs through the content of the case. You think it's the bad guy? But she's been living there for 5 months. If Morverio was actually her, he would have nabbed her, like, immediately. But nothing's off the table.
Where is that other apron? She moans, standing with her hands on her hips.
She turns in my direction and freezes. Her breath hitches as she gazes behind me. My heart thumps against my chest, and my legs have gone weak. The room is suffocating me. I dread to look over my shoulder. The old lady opens her mouth to speak, but only a choke escapes before she managed to whisper, "Blackie?" What has she seen? My raspy, shallow breathing is the only noise that reaches my ears. I concentrate hard on the air trying to flow in and out of my mouth. It's not working, though. I need to see what shocked Minima. Bracing myself for the worst and ready to leg it just in case, I turn slowly to peer behind me. A gasp escapes my throat. In the reflection of the huge mirror, I stand in my human form. Hair braided, arms outstretched, my crescent moon birthmark standing out against the pale color of my inner wrist. I didn't see that coming. I didn't think she was supposed to be a human yet. I thought you were more than a simple cat, Minima finally says. You seem to understand everything I said to you. But I didn't expect that. She falls back on the pile of clothing. I didn't expect that at all. I step away from the mirror and crouch back into a corner, unsure of how she will react now she knows I'm not a cat. What will she do with me? She holds out a hand. Come here, Blackie. She begins before stopping. I can't call you that anymore, can I? I meow and take a few hesitant steps towards her. Why is she meowing? Come on, she insists. I'm not going to hurt you. In fact, I have something for you. She gets to her feet and rummages around in another case. The piece of luggage has been dented and scratched over the years. Who knows, maybe over decades or centuries even. Pulling out a small brass casket, she returns to sitting on the clothes and eases the lid open before taking out a beautiful black velvet collar with a green gemstone. Wait, hold on. Hi, Gray. Is she still a cat, but in her reflection she's a human? Did I misunderstand the first time? Yeah, in the reflection of the huge mirror, I stand in my human form. Okay, so she's still a cat. But, okay, very good. She holds it up in the air. The faint light from the solitary bulb hanging from the rafters reflects an emerald sparkle from the stone. "Look here," she says, holding out the collar. I nose the object in her hand, and my gaze falls onto the embroidered inscription on the inside of the velvet band, an exact replica of my birthmark. My head snaps up. "Yes," she says, opening the clasp. "The same mark." She unfashions my collar and lets out a gasp when her gaze falls onto the inside of the leather. I know who this belongs to," she stammers. "He gave it to you, didn't he?" I place a paw on her arm and meow. The old woman brings her attention back to me before placing the leather strip and the brass casket. Then, with great care, she fastens the velvet collar around my neck. "Now that I know who you are," she manages to say as she stands, "it's time for you to return to him. He needs you. And that collar." Head tilted to one side, I gawk at her. "He is the guardian of the ring, and you have to take that gemstone to him." How does she know all this? And how did she find that collar? Questions. I have questions. I let out a feeble meow. Morvario knows that too. Can Tristan really keep me safe from that beast? I take the pressure off my paw and blink at her. She's been so good to me, healing my leg and feeding me. How I wish I could speak to her, to thank her for all she's done. My vision blurs and a huge lump forms in the back of my throat. If I ever make it out of this sticky mess, I swear I'll come back and thank her. "Come and have a last meal," she says, heading out of the attic. We go downstairs and into the kitchen where she puts some food into my bowl. "You'll need your strength for the journey back." In no time, I finish my food and turn to see her smiling down at me. "If Tristan still lives in the cottage in Baynon, then you need to go south." I rub my head against her legs and meow again. "Don't be sad, my dear." She's right. Although a small part of me is sad, the rest of me is scared stiff to leave. To walk away from this woman who nursed me for all these months, and to return to the outside world and back to playing hide and seek with the monster. Fondling my velvet collar, she whispers in my ear, "This collar will take you safely back. The evil one won't be able to sense you. So keep to the shadows as much as possible. And don't worry. Like I said, your protector will be able to keep you from harm." Minimar reaches out to stroke me one last time. "I know what I'm talking about." She wipes a tear from her cheek and stoops to place a tender kiss on the tip of my nose. "I wish you a safe journey home. Now go to him." I lick her cheek and taste the salty tears there. My chest tightens and the lump is getting bigger at the back of my throat. My goodbyes said, I head into the yard and squint into the bright afternoon sun, taking in huge gulps of fresh air. The fields stretch away to the skyline, tinged to various tones of beige by the mid-October sun. I hurry across them as best I can, urging my legs to carry me quicker. They haven't been in full swing for ages. Although the air is cooler, it doesn't stop the hovering gnats from making nuisances of themselves, diving in and out of my ears as if they owned the place. I ignore them and scurry for the road. The air stings my lungs as I inhale faster, but I refuse to slow down. A while later, perched on a stone wall, I try to get my breath back. Even if I did follow Minima around when she went about her chores, 5 long months at the farm has made me unfit. Doubts creep in about my welfare. Will I be able to get back to Tristan in safety like the old woman said, before Maverio gets me? But if her last words are anything to go by, I'll be safe back at the cottage. She was sure about that. I'll have to trust her. With a deep sigh, I set off again. Stopping here any longer could be dangerous. It won't be long before I'll be with my Tristan. Have his warm arms around me. Smell his familiar aftershave. There's a small break in the story, so I'll take a quick sip. This tea is delicious. It's so good. The heat of the day drops, and early evening brings a little coolness. I stop to rest my legs. On the top of a road bank, I scan my surroundings as I get my breath back. I might have to make some tea. It sounds good. It is. Make it how I make it, okay? Black tea, a little bit of milk, a couple of sugars, whatever your sweetness desires. So good. Hang on a minute. I recognize that old stone bridge. This is the road leading to Tristan's village. I spin round and around, meowing at the top of my voice. I've done it. I've come home. I read that cats are supposed to be gifted with powerful senses. This is incredible. I leap down the slope and continue my journey, eager to get home. Despite the fact that my stomach is rock hard with anxiety and knowing that Estelle may still be around, the simple thought of seeing Tristan again sends my tummy fluttering. I wonder what lie she told him about my disappearance, and how am I going to get Tristan to understand what really happened? To tell him who she is? I have to admit, I'm a bit scared. But I'll be super careful. As long as I can keep out of her reach, I should be all right. If she grabs me, though, I'll be taken straight to Morvario. That said, it was Minima who told me to get back to Tristan, and I would be safe with him. That he needed me. I'm gonna trust she's right. And I still have some lives left. Beyond the horizon, the village of Bainon comes into view, radiant in the last remnants of the setting sun. Bronze hues give way to dusty purple, and my spirits heighten. And being in convalescence for so long, I missed the long, warm evenings out in the open. I approach the first houses as the periwinkle and indigo sky fills with stars. Not far to go. My breathing slows, and I'm giddy with excitement. Any moment now, the cottage will pop into view, and I'll be able to relax. Adrenaline courses through me, sending tingles from head to toe. I couldn't be happier. And yet the same thought since leaving the farm comes to mind. What will Tristan's reaction be when he sees me again after all this time? And that brings chapter 11 to a close. And what an unfortunate cliffhanger to leave you on. I scanned ahead. Chapter 12 is just too long. If I wasn't reading in Discord, I would say let's do it, since I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks, and we'll just go a little extra. But I cannot. I have commitments, and I must stay strong to those commitments. But heck, those were some good chapters. The story is moving along at a nice pace. We're on page 115 when we get back. What will happen? Is Tristan going to jump for joy? Is he gonna shoo her away because maybe Estelle made up some twisted story? Or is Estelle just going to find her first and try taking her to Morvario before Tristan even has a clue? I don't know. I don't know. All good questions. Our author is in France. Parlez-vous français? So she reads. She watches, not reads, the videos afterwards. So I'm sure when she hears all of the questions that we've had, she'll be just, yep, no, yep, no. But thankfully, she never tells me. Otherwise, I don't know what we'd do. All right. I'm going to pull up our streamer friends and see who's online so we can go raid somebody. Mad Locust, once again, happy birthday. Turning 40 is a big deal. I gotta tell you, I'm not looking forward to it at all. But here we are. It happens. I can't stop it. I just got to deal with it in my own way, whatever way that is. I don't really know, but it's fine. It's fine. All right. Let's see. Violin Chick is doing music. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else doing. Maiko the Psycho is on, but we rated them last time. That's the only person doing writing and reading, though, or in that category, I should say. So I think what we're gonna do. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to raid Rio. I haven't had a chance to raid her in a long time. Looks like she's playing TCG Card Shop Simulator. I had no idea that was a thing. But either way, please copy this raid message. She's a kind-hearted human being. A lovely person. Rio Anda. A lot of people love that game right now. Nice. Okay. Thanks for the stream. You are quite welcome. Thanks everyone for being here. I know I'm not going to see you for like 2 weeks, so please take care of yourselves. Check in if you want to. I'll be thinking of you. I can't wait to get back. I miss you already. But it'll be a fun return once I am back, and we can just keep going with this book. See how the story ends. I'll tell you all about my trip. But take care of yourselves. Be safe. Take care of each other. Have a great night.